Hi, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. I hope this video brings you some peace and comfort. Now let's get to it. Finding out that someone you love has dementia can feel like the ground has shifted beneath your feet. One minute life feels familiar, the next you're facing doctor appointments, difficult emotions, uncertain decisions, and a future you may not feel ready for. You might be scared, confused, numb, angry, heartbroken, or maybe you are trying to stay strong for everyone else while quietly falling apart inside. If that's where you are right now, this video is definitely for you. Today we're going to talk about 15 tools that can help you cope with a family member's newly diagnosed dementia. These tools won't erase the pain of the diagnosis, and they won't make everything easy, but they can help you feel more grounded, more prepared, and a little less alone as you begin navigating this new reality. Some of these tools are practical, some are emotional, some are about planning ahead, and others are about protecting your own mental health while caring for someone you love. So if your family has recently received a dementia diagnosis, take a deep breath and let's walk through this together. Number 1, start a dementia care binder or notebook. One of the very first tools that can help after a dementia diagnosis is something simple: a binder, a notebook, even a voice note in your phone. When a diagnosis is new, information starts coming at you so fast. You may have doctor's names, test results, medication lists, follow-up appointments, insurance forms, behavior changes, legal questions, and family updates all happening at once. It can feel impossible to keep it all straight. That's why having one place to store everything matters so much. In this binder, keep diagnosis details, name and numbers for doctors, medication lists, appointment notes, behavior observations, questions for future visits, copies of legal or insurance paperwork, and emergency contacts. You can always add to any of these, but all are very helpful. This will become your caregiver command center. And when emotions are high, having a system that can reduce stress more than you may expect. Number 2, write down questions for the doctor. This is really important. Sometimes our brain can get super foggy and we forget the importance of having questions prepared. After a diagnosis, many families leave appointments and realize later that they forgot to ask half of what they wanted to know. That's completely normal. Dementia diagnosis can be emotionally overwhelming, and it's hard to think clearly when you're trying to process life-changing news. So one of the best coping tools is a running list of questions for your loved ones, doctors. Some good questions might include: what type of dementia does my loved one have? What stage does it appear to be in? What symptoms should we expect in the near future? Are there medications that may help? What safety issues should we be paying attention to right now? Should we be concerned about driving, cooking, or living alone? Are there specialists, therapists, or support programs you recommend? Write these questions down before appointments and bring the list with you. It helps you feel more prepared and give you a sense of control during a time that can feel incredibly uncertain. Number 3, create a family communication system. A new dementia diagnosis doesn't just affect one person, it affects the entire family. And if everyone is trying to communicate in different ways, confusion and tension can build quickly. That's why one of the most useful tools is setting up a simple family communication system. This could be a group text, a shared email thread, a family calendar, a notes app, a shared Google Doc, or a caregiving app. The goal is to create one central place for updates so family members know what's happening without one person having to repeat everything over and over again. You can use it to share doctor updates, appointment dates, medication changes, safety concerns, caregiving needs, and who is helping with what. This may seem like a small thing, but it can reduce misunderstandings, resentment, and caregiving overload in a big way. Number 4, use a care calendar. One of the hardest parts of dementia diagnosis is that life doesn't stop. There are still errands, jobs, children, bills, meals, and daily responsibilities happening while you're trying to figure out a completely new caregiving reality. That's why a care calendar can be such a powerful tool. Use a paper planner, wall calendar, or digital calendar to track. You can track things like appointments, medication refills, family visits, grocery runs, transportation, home care visits, respite breaks, and even difficult days or behavior changes. A care calendar helps you see what's coming, what support is missing, and where the pressure points are before you hit a wall. It also makes it easier for others to step in and help because they can clearly see what needs to be done. Number 5, learn about dementia from reliable sources. This is a reliable source. Also, fear grows in the unknown. One of the best ways to cope with a dementia diagnosis is to start learning about what dementia actually is and what it can look like over time. If you're listening to this video, then you're already doing step number 5. Education won't remove the grief, but it can reduce some of the panic. When families understand that dementia can affect memory, judgment, communication, mood, personality, and daily functioning, certain behaviors begin to make more sense. Repeating questions, confusion, suspicion, wandering, sleep changes, and emotional outbursts may still be painful to experience, but they become easier to respond to when you understand that these behaviors and symptoms of a disease, not a personal attack. Try to focus on trusted resources, caregiver guides, and organizations that explain the types of dementia, stages in progression, communication strategies, safety concerns, behavior changes, and caregiver support options. Knowledge doesn't solve everything, but it can help replace helplessness with understanding. Number 6, join a caregiving support group or any support group. Even if you have to create your support group within your family unit or within the unit that you have helping take care of the person with the diagnosis. One of the most painful parts of dementia diagnosis is how isolating it can feel. Friends may not understand. Families may be in denial, and the person you normally turn to in comfort may be the very person who needs the care. That's why support groups can be such a lifeline. Whether it is a person or online, a caregiver support group gives you a space to talk to people who truly understand what this experience feels like. You can hear how other families are handling memory loss, difficult behaviors, safety concerns, guilt, anger, grief, and exhaustion. Sometimes the most healing words in the world are, "Me too." "What happened with my mom too?" Or "That happened with my mom too." You are not alone. A support group won't fix the diagnosis, but it can remind you that you do not have to carry this alone. Number 7, make a respite plan before you're desperate. Many family caregivers wait too long to try to help or to ask for help. They keep pushing through because they love the person, because they feel guilty, because they think they should be able to handle it on their own. But dementia caregiving can be emotionally, mentally, physically exhausting If you wait until you're completely overwhelmed, it becomes much harder to recover. That's why respite plan is essential. Think now about who could step in when you need a break. A sibling, adult children, a trusted neighbor or friend, a home care aide, an adult day program, a respite care service, a faith-based community volunteer. Even if you don't need help every day, you need a backup plan for the days when you're sick, emotionally drained, or simply at your limit. Rest is not abandoning your loved one. Rest is a part of caring well. Number 8, keep a behavior and symptom log. This is important. Dementia can bring changes that seem random at first. Maybe your loved one becomes more aggravated in the afternoon. Maybe they get confused after a poor night of sleep. Maybe they become upset in crowded environments or forgetful when they're hungry or dehydrated. A behavior log can help you post the patterns you might otherwise miss. Write down what behavior happened, what time it happened, what was going on beforehand, whether they were tired, hungry, overstimulated, in pain, or uncomfortable, any medication changes, or any disruptions in routine. This can help you identify triggers and bring useful information to medical appointments. Sometimes what looks like difficult behavior is actually fear, pain, fatigue, confusion, overstimulation, or an unmet need. A log can help you respond with more compassion and less guesswork. Number 9, do a home safety check early. One of the most practical ways to cope with the new dementia diagnosis is to make the home safer before a crisis happens. Even in the early stages, small changes can make a big difference. Walk through the home and think about fall risks like loose rugs or clutter, medication safety, stove or kitchen safety, bathroom grab bars, emergency numbers posted clearly, car keys and driving concerns, wandering risk, locking away cleaning supplies, tools, or sharp objects if needed. You don't have to transform the entire house in one day. Start with the highest risk concerns first and work from there. Taking action on safety can reduce anxiety because it gives you a way to protect your loved ones without waiting for something to go wrong. Number 10, organize legal and financial planning. This is one of the hardest tools on the list because it forces you to face the future before you may feel emotionally ready. But it's also one of the most important. If your loved one is still able to participate in decisions, now is the time to talk about legal financial planning. That may include power of attorney, healthcare proxy or medical power of attorney, advance direct HIPAA or doctor communication permissions, wills or trust documents, account information, insurance paperwork, monthly bills, and important financial records. These conversations can feel uncomfortable, but having these plans in place can early prevent confusion, conflict, and crisis later on. Think of this not as giving up hope, but as creating protection and clarity for the road ahead. 11, make a what comforts them list. As dementia progresses, your loved one may have moments of fear, confusion, or emotional distress. During these moments, it helps if you know what brings them comfort. So create a list what helps your family member feel safe, calm, or connected. This might include favorite music, a certain blanket, a familiar TV show, family photos, a favorite snack, holding hands, going for a short walk, folding towels, sorting objects, sitting outside, or hearing a reassuring phrase like, "You're safe and I'm here." This list may seem simple, but on hard days, it can be incredibly valuable. It gives you a place to start when emotions are high, logic isn't enough. Number 12, learn better communication tools. A dementia diagnosis often changes how conversations work. Your loved ones may forget things, repeat themselves, misunderstand what's being said, or become upset when corrected. One of the most powerful coping tools is learning to shift the way you communicate. Try to speak calmly and slowly. Use short, simple sentences. Ask one question at a time. Avoid arguing about facts they don't remember. Validate feelings even if the details are wrong. Redirect gently instead of correcting harshly. Helpful phrases might be, "I'm here with you. You are safe. Let's do this together. I can see this is upsetting. It's okay, we'll figure it out." This takes practice, and no one gets it right all the time. But improving communication can lower stress for both you and your loved one. Number 13, build a personal coping routine for yourself. When someone you love is diagnosed with dementia, it's easy to pour all of your energy into their care and completely forget that you also need support. But your emotional health matters too. One of the most important tools you can have is a personal coping routine. A few simple things that can help you regulate stress and process what you're going through. That might look like journaling for 10 minutes at a time, taking a daily walk, praying or meditating, talking to a therapist, calling a trusted friend once or twice a week, listening to a caregiver podcast, taking 5 quiet moments in your car before going back inside the house. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is, because if you're going to support someone through dementia, you need something that supports you too. Number 14, make an emergency plan. A dementia diagnosis can come with unpredictable situations and it helps to think through emergencies before they happen. Ask yourself, what will we do if they wander? What if they fall? What if they become severely confused at night? What if they refuse medication? What if I need to leave unexpectedly? What if I get sick and can't provide care for a few days? Write down an emergency plan that includes key contacts, doctor phone numbers, medication lists, diagnosis information, allergies, insurance details, backup caregivers, the nearest hospital or urgent care option. In a crisis, clear information saves time and reduces panic. Number 15, give yourself permission to grieve. And finally, one of the most important tools for coping with a new dementia diagnosis is exactly this. Give yourself permission to grieve. Dementia doesn't just bring medical questions, it brings heartbreak, it brings fear, it brings the slow realization that life may never look quite the same again. You may be grieving the future you thought your family would have. You may be grieving the changes you're already seeing. You may be grieving the less of certainty in role reversal and emotional distance, or the version of your loved one you're afraid of losing. And all that is real. You do not have to stay positive every second. You do not have to be endlessly strong. You do not have to have all the answers right now. It is okay to cry. It is okay to feel angry. It is okay to feel overwhelmed. It is okay to need help. Sometimes coping starts with simply admitting that it's hard. If your family is facing a new dementia diagnosis right now, I want to leave you with this. You do not have to figure out everything today. You do not need a perfect plan by tomorrow morning. You do not need to know every stage, solve every future problem, or carry every burden by yourself. Right now, your job is not to do everything at once. Your job is to take the next step, then the next step after that, and maybe next step is starting a care binder. Maybe it's scheduling a legal planning conversation. Maybe it's finding a support group. Maybe it's asking a sibling for help. Maybe it's simply letting yourself cry after holding it together for everyone else. Whatever that next step is, let it be enough for today. This is a step. If you're listening to this, this is a step. If this video helped you, consider sharing it with someone else who is caring for a loved one with dementia. And if you like, let me know in the comments which of the 15 tools feel most helpful for your family right now. You are not alone in this. And even though this read is difficult, support, guidance, and hope do exist. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again in the next video.